Now crochet the rabbit's legs. The leg is crocheted by starting with a chain stitch foundation. Take out the white yarn. Gray yarn is used in the video for demonstration. Please refer to the stitches and disregard the yarn color. First, make a slip knot. Hold the yarn tail with your right hand. Open your left palm facing upward. Place the yarn on your left palm. Wrap the yarn around your left index, middle and ring fingers. Pinch the crossover point with your thumb. Remove the loop from your fingers. Pass your right thumb and index finger from right to left through the loop. Pinch the working yarn with your right hand. Pull the yarn while holding the yarn tail with your left hand. A slip knot is made. Insert the crochet hook into the loop. Adjust the size of the loop. Hold the yarn on hand. Place the yarn tail under the crochet hook. For round 1, crochet 15 chain stitches first. The first chain stitch. Yarn over the hook and pull the yarn through the loop on your crochet hook. The first chain stitch is completed. From the side view, it forms a V shape. Second chain stitch. Third chain stitch. Fourth. The fifth. Sixth. The seventh. The eighth. The ninth. The 10th. The 11th. 12th. The 13th. The 14th. The 15th. From the side view, 15 V-shapes are formed. Then turn, skip 1 chain stitch. Start crocheting from the second to last V-shape. Finish 14 single crochet in total. The first single crochet. Insert the crochet hook from the middle of the V-shape through the top strand to crochet. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch. For the second single crochet, insert hook through the middle of the left side V-shape to crochet. Third single crochet. Fourth single crochet. The fifth. Sixth. Here 6 single crochet are worked for demonstration. Please crochet the remaining 8 single crochet using the same method on your own. 14 single crochet are completed. Round 1 is completed. Leave a 6-inch yarn tail for sewing and cut the yarn. Remove the stitch marker. One leg is now completed. Please make the other leg using the same methods. Now crochet the scarf. The scarf is crocheted by starting with a chain stitch foundation. Take out pink yarn and create a slip knot first. Hold the yarn tail with your right hand. Open your left palm facing upward. Place the yarn on your left palm. Wrap yarn around your index, middle and ring fingers once. Pinch the crossover point with your thumb. Remove the loop from your fingers. Pass your right thumb and index finger from right to left through the loop. Pinch the working yarn with your right hand. Pull the yarn while holding the yarn tail with your left hand. A slip knot is made. Insert hook through the loop. Tighten the loop. Hold the yarn on hand. Position the yarn tail beneath the hook. In round 1, make 60 to chain stitches first. The first chain stitch. Second chain stitch. Third. Fourth. The fifth. Sixth. Please continue crocheting chain stitches using this method until you finish 60 to chain stitches in total. 62 chain stitches are completed. Then turn, skip to chain stitches and crochet 60 double crochet. Locate the third chain stitch from the end. This is where we crochet the first double crochet. Yarn over the hook and insert hook through one strand of the third to last chain. Yarn over and pull through. There are 3 loops on the crochet hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the crochet hook. There are now 2 loops on your crochet hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. First double crochet is completed. Place a stitch marker on the first stitch. Second double crochet. Third double crochet. Fourth. The fifth. Sixth. For the remaining 50 for double crochet, please complete them on your own by using the same method. "60 double crochet are completed. Remember to count your stitches. Round 1 is completed. Leave a 4-inch yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Use the crochet hook to pull the yarn tail out. Take out the sewing needle from your materials kit. Thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Locate the back of the fabric. That is the side with these small horizontal strands. Tie a knot with one horizontal strand. This prevents yarn from slipping off. Weave excess yarn through these strands. Trim the excess yarn tail. Use the same method to weave this yarn tail into the fabric. This strand already has a slip knot. Proceed directly to weaving an end. Trim excess yarn tail. Remove the stitch marker. The scarf is now completed. Begin sewing all parts. Take out the head and body. Thread the body's yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Sew the body to the head with stitches corresponding one by one. Start from the position of the first stitch. Tighten the yarn. For the remaining half round, please sew up using the same method. One full round of sewing is completed. Thread the excess yarn tail through the fabric. Weave an end following the fabric's grain. For example, there is a vertical strand. We can thread through this spot. Gently tighten the yarn. Use the needle to adjust the yarn tension. Repeat the weaving and end process using the same method. Trim excess yarn tail. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. The head and body are sewn together. Now sew the ears. Sew the ears onto the head between rounds 5 to 8. First locate rounds 5 to 8 on the head. The center is the first round. Place a stitch marker above round 5. Place a stitch marker below round 8. Then find rounds 5 to 8 on this side. Check the positions. Adjust if asymmetrical. Take out the ears. Deal with the wire first. Fold this end inward a short distance. Fold the excess wire in half. Apply the same method on this side. Insert both wires into their corresponding positions. Insert from the stitch marker position. Follow the same procedure on this side. Thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Begin sewing along the ERS outline. Thread through the gap between round 3 and round 2. Thread through the center of round 1. Thread through the gap between round 2 and round 3. Insert the wire into the fabric. Thread through this stitch in the third round. Exit from any back position and tighten the yarn. Thread the gray yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Insert from the bottom. Bring this gray yarn out from the same stitch. Pull the yarn tight. Thread this pink yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Insert from the bottom. Bring the needle out at any point. Thread this pink yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Insert the needle from below. Bring this pink yarn out from the same stitch. Tighten the yarn. Group them in pairs and tie a knot. This prevents yarns from slipping. Repeat the process with the pink yarn tails. Use scissors to trim the excess yarn tails. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. One ear is now sewn on. There is the wire in the ear. So we can shape the ear. Sew the other ear using the same method. Both ears are sewn on. Shape the ears according to your preference. Next, sew the blushes. Sew the blushes to both sides of the head between rounds 13 and 14, next to the eyes. Take out the blush and thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. The round below the eyes is round 13. This is round 14. Sew the blush beside the eye. Position it here. Begin sewing. Insert the needle from beneath round 14. Sew along the outline of the blush. Tighten the yarn. After completing sewing one round, weave the excess yarn through the fabric. Thread this yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Insert the needle from below. Bring the needle out from the same position. Tie a knot with these two yarn tails. Trim excess yarn tails. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. Make some adjustments. The blush on this side is now sewn on. Sew the other blush to the opposite side using the same method. Both blushes are sewn on. Next, embroider the mouth. Take 8 inches of black yarn. Thread the yarn onto the sewing needle. Embroider a double U-shaped mouth on round 16 of the head, spanning 6 stitches. Insert the needle from any point. Locate round 16. The round directly below the eyes is round 13. Round 14, round 15 and round 16. Embroider the mouth on this round. Pull the needle out from the center position between two eyes on round 16. Leave a length of yarn tail here. Count 3 stitches to the left. Insert the needle diagonally downward from the stitch. Position the needle above this yarn. Tighten the yarn and insert through the same stitch. Pull out from the center position. Tighten the yarn. Count 3 stitches to the right and insert the needle. Insert the needle diagonally downward. Adjust the yarn. Slightly tighten the yarn. Insert through the same stitch. Pull out from the same stitch on the side. Tighten the yarn. The double U-shaped mouth is now embroidered. Tie a knot with both yarn tails. Trim excess yarn tails. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. Use scissors here for assistance. Avoid stabbing yourself. Pinch to adjust the shape. The mouth is now embroidered. Begin sewing the arms. Thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Sew the arms to both sides of the body on round 24. Ensure bilateral symmetry. Round 24 is the final round of the body. Place a stitch marker at the side position. Do the same on the other side. Align with the ear position. Confirm the positions on both sides. Begin sewing. Insert needle beneath round 24 and thread through to corresponding position. Confirm that the position is at the body side. Pinch fabric, flatten the line before sewing. Weave in the excess yarn by passing it through the fabric several times. Adjust the tension of the yarn. Trim excess yarn tail. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. One arm is now sewed on. Please sew the other arm using the same method. Both arms are sewn on. Next, sew up the legs. Thread the yarn tail from the foot onto the sewing needle. Take out the leg. Sew the side of the leg without yarn tail to round 12 of the foot. First, insert from one side. Insert from the seam stitch and thread through to the other side of the fabric. Tighten the yarn. Then thread through the side of the fabric. Insert from the same stitch. Thread through to this side again. Tighten the yarn. Sew again to prevent the yarn from loosening. Weave in the excess yarn by passing it through the fabric several times. Trim excess yarn tail. Thread one yarn tail of the leg onto the sewing needle. Sew the leg onto rounds 5 to 6 of the body. Locate rounds 5 to 6. That is the position of these two rounds. Find the corresponding position below the arm. Begin sewing. Pay attention to the orientation. Position the nicer side facing forward. Pull the yarn out from any position and tighten it. Thread this yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Sew again using the same method. Thread out from the same position. Tighten the yarn. Tie a knot with these two yarn tails. Trim excess yarn tails. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. One leg is now sewn on. This leg can move freely. Sew the other leg following the same method. Two legs are sewn on. Next, sew the tail. Take out the tail and thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Sew the tail to the center back of the body between rounds 10 and 13. Locate rounds 10 to 13. This is round 10. Continue to find round 13. That is between these rounds. Confirm whether it is positioned at the center of the back. Adjust if needed. Begin sewing. Insert the needle at round 10. Sew along the contour of the tail. Here we sew half round for demonstration. Please sew the remaining half round using the same method. The sewing is completed. Weave the excess yarn through the fabric several times. Trim excess yarn tail. Pinch to conceal the yarn end within the fabric. The tail is sewn on. Place the scarf around rabbit's neck. Tie a knot here. The scarf is attached onto the neck. If you think this is aesthetically pleasing enough, you can place the scarf at the appropriate position first. Then prepare a length of pink yarn. Thread the yarn onto the sewing needle. Find scarf crossover point. Insert needle from the back. Exit from the front. Then insert again from another spot. Span yarn segments to ensure the sewing spot has a connection point. Thread to the back of the fabric. Tie a knot. Secure for a few more times if needed. Trim excess yarn tails. Make some adjustments. The scarf is now securely in place. Shape the ears. The rabbit is completed. This is the rabbit made with matching colors.